It was a cold October day when I was in class, English class, quickly trying to finish last night's homework before my teacher came around to check it. As I was frantically drawing random shapes and graphs to make it seem like I had done my homework when my teacher, Mr. Mankey, came up right next to me and put his hand on my shoulder and looked down at my paper. I felt his long and cold fingers grip at my collarbone.
"Hey,"
Mr. Mankey spoke out.
"that's last night's homework. It's called homework because it's meant to be done at home,"
he remarked as his long fingers gripped tighter around my trapezius and delta pectoral muscles. I quickly looked at him. His lazy eyes always made me feel uncomfortable. "Oh, sorry," I rebounded. "I forgot to do it. I dislike studying at home."
"Why that?"
he said.
"You have such a lovely room,"
he said, grinning mischievously. Wait a second. How did he know that?
"When you do your homework, you activate your extensor digitorum," he winked at me.
Oh my god. How did he know that I was an anatomy student? He quickly left back up to the front of the class.
"Okay, class," he began. "Oh, real quick," he said, and then looked at me. "Remember to lock the door to your room at night, as I know you sometimes forget."
Oh my god. How did he know that I sometimes forget to lock my door to my room? Excuse me, Mr. Mankey, are you talking about my room? How did you know that? I shouted across the room. Everyone turned to me. I forgot to mention that I was emo and not very popular, but I had cool piercings and epic shades.
Catherine, I think you should sit down. I was reminding myself about my own dog room, because my dog gets out sometimes. Please do not disrupt my class again."
He shook his fist at me menacingly, and then winked at me lightheartedly. Later that day, I was sitting in the cafeteria with Cedric, the janitor and my only friend in the whole school. "I don't know," I said to Cedric, the janitor and my only friend in the entire school. "Something about Mr. Mankey just seems off."
"Mr. Mankey? I always thought he was weird. I noticed that he stays back in the parking lot in his car and sometimes stares at the girls. That guy's weird."
I smiled and took another bite out of the blood orange I was eating. The red-orange blood of the orange dripped down my chin. Just then, a hand came from off-screen and wiped the juice away. It was Mr. Mankey!
"Here," he said, "let me take care of that for you."
Cedric looked at me and gave me those sassy eyes he gives when something totally crazy happens. Mr. Mankey walked away.
"All right, Catherine. If he keeps bothering you, call the police. They'll always help you,"
Cedric chirped gleefully. I went home with Cedric's advice, and I was walking alone on the icy street on a cold October night. Brrr, I shivered. I saw the ice-white color of my frosty breath under the pale gray street lamp, which was located on a cold gray metal pole. I was in bed listening to my emo bands when I heard a knock on the massive bay window I had in my room. My head shot up like it was moving really fast, but I saw no one. I looked back down to look at my laptop when I heard the knocking sound again, and when I went to change the music to another emo band, I looked up, and I saw Mr. Mankey on the other side, standing on a ladder and looking at me, and he looked so mad, but he was also smiling, and he knocked on the glass again, and he mouthed something, but I couldn't quite hear him, and I screamed. After screaming, I noticed that he was actually mouthing, "Hey, you're at home. You should be doing your homework, not listening to emo bands. Those gunk up your head." But I was terrified because he had a very creepy smile. "Mommy! Daddy!" I tried crying out, but I noticed that my lips were shut and could not open. Just then I remembered what he had told me earlier today. Lock the door to your room at night. I felt the blood in my body do a full 380 spin. I began to run downstairs. As I grabbed the handle, the door slowly pushed up. I looked up to see Mr. Mankey with a super wide smile and crazy eyes. "You should have locked your door!" Whee! Mr. Mankey exhaled. "Shoot! I forgot my parents were in fact not home." Mr. Mankey suddenly pulled out a scary knife and lunged at me with it. Suddenly, another figure appeared inside of the room. It was Sidkiss the janitor. "My body! Ah!" screamed Mr. Mankey as he fell to the ground, with his massive, emotionless smile. "Wait, Cedric, why are you here?" He smiled at me.
Hey, my name is Mr. Smith. I'm an FBI agent. I've been tailing around Mr. Mankey for years. And thanks to you, I caught him.
So you're not a real janitor?
Haha, no, but I am your real friend.
He then gave me his sassy stare and winked. The report came on the news. Wow. Mr. Mankey, my former English teacher, had been an evil stalker of around 700,000 girls my age. But they, the FBI, was unable to apprehend him until they had definite proof. This was the case that brought him down. My parents finally came home, and now I am older and living a happy life. Mr. Cedric offered me a job at the FBI as an honorary agent, which I took. And they don't give stupid homework like the school does.